Welcome back, time traveler. We gotta talk. Oh, it feels good to be back. This is the one and only. Coming to the other one and only. All right, this is universe to universe. I'm coming at you. Before I come at you, I gotta back out here. You can never really multitask. Never really. You have to put your attention somewhere. The obvious question is, well, where do you put your attention then? What do you put your attention on? What do you focus on? Let's not get too distant. Let's not get too far away from this. You see, when you introduce an infinite amount of possibilities, an infinite amount of options for you to go, for you to take the helm, I mean, even if you knew 5 seconds prior what you wanted to do, what your goals, what your desires were, what your 1 week plan was, what your 1 month plan was, what your day plan was, what your 5-year plan, 10-year plan, life timeline plan. If you're not sufficiently focused, you can get caught in the hurricane. You can get caught in the wind of all that kind of energy. And your clarity can be muddied by the chaos. Hone your chi. Or simply just maintain where you're at, rather. Because here's where I'm coming from. It's 2026, January 1st, 2026. I'm 26 years old now. You see, I've been doing this for a tidbit of time now. And I've produced a substantial hourage of content as of now. And I imagine this is only going to grow. I mean, what else is really going to happen? And so today, I just found myself listening as I was going about my day to things that I made in 2022, 2023, being 23 years old. And I found it fascinating. I found it intriguing. I found some of it to be horrendous, terrifying, and off-putting. Some of it. A very tiny percentage of it to be horrendous and off-putting. So do you, and nice job. there are a few comments and thoughts I have about that time in my life, that person who I presented in that epoch, their way of life, the ideas that they valued. And so I'll just spitball here. What did I notice about that variant of Dawson at that time? I definitely noticed a lot of confidence, a boldness, definitely a boldness. And how it came across to me was almost like a naive sort of boldness. Like, you don't know what's out there in the world. You don't know what kind of unknowns are out there in the world, so you're just courageous and bold. You're just opening up doors. You have yet to open up the door to Luigi's Mansion, is what I'm saying. There was a kind of one of the key strengths that I noticed about that variant of me was an insurmountableness. A kind of diamond-like hardness, an impenetrability, an invincibleness to me. You know, my power is not that I don't get hurt. My power is that I don't feel pain. And so I'll walk through thorns and thistles and the fire, and as a party trick, you know, I'll step out and, you know, people can punch me in the face or stab me or whatever, and I don't feel the pain of that. But it doesn't necessarily negate the reality of taking damage, and that there is a trade-off and there's a cost that, well, I mean, I can die, and I can and if I do get hurt in that kind of way, that there is a sort of healing process that must occur due to the intaking of said damage. So I suppose that's something that stood out. Those are my thoughts. Now, there were a few things that I was very optimistic in seeing at that time. A few crumbs of wisdom, a few nuggets of value brought back from the past while watching those. And one of those was actually a sort of program, a sort of code, a prompt, if you will, a question that I find a lot of value in the question. Or I guess just the topic, the concept. And what I had said in a few of the videos, actually, was that my MO at the time, my mode of operation, was that I'm making these things to provide value to someone. I'm making these things to provide value. How can I best provide value? And I think that that's a really good question to ask yourself. Because maybe you don't come up with a clear-cut, defined set of words that you can string upon your vision board for you to aim at, but I do feel that even if you take that with a sort of vagueness, how can I provide value to somebody? What can I do to provide value? What can I do to make this worth somebody's time? How can I impact somebody in a positive way? That gets you, that just gets you. That got me in a frame of mind in which I enjoy being. Which is another little crumb of something that I said amongst a whole bunch of just having fun. And this is something that I feel like a more recent me of my life needed to hear. It was thought-provoking. It was provocative. What it was, I ended the video on this, and what I said was, what it comes down to is, how are you going to enjoy yourself? Now, I don't think that that's the tip of the pin. How are you going to enjoy yourself? I don't really believe that the point of life is to enjoy yourself. But I also recognize that I could very well be caught myself in a sort of torsion of what is important. What should be of value to yourself? What is a priority in your life? And it sounds as though it's kind of naive, young, and childish, immature to value, how am I going to enjoy myself? And I feel like, that goes twofold. You can easily tip the scale or just view it the wrong way or view it with the wrong sort of outlook, attitude, and mindset that your whole life is just hedonic pleasure, endless pleasure. There's nothing, you don't take anything sincerely, nothing is serious to you, and therefore you're just all shits and giggles, you're just a clown. But I also think there's something real there, that there's a sort of, there's a Goldilocks zone to that, There is something virtuous about that concept. You know, how are you going to enjoy yourself? How can you enjoy yourself? What do you enjoy about yourself? And so I'm just going to get right into it. What's the most valuable thing that I can provide to the viewer of this in my current state? You are enough, as you are, in this very moment. You don't need to smile. You don't need to grimace. You don't need to change yourself. The change will occur. That will occur in you. You will change whether or not you would like to or not. And however you are just right. How are you going to enjoy yourself? Exposure therapy. The reason why I say exposure therapy might be a method for you to be able to enjoy yourself is because when I made those videos in 2020, 2022, 2023, I was on a string, months, years, just condensed, stacked upon each other of just enjoying myself and confronting all these different things and just constantly confronting and enjoying all of the emotions and all the feelings. And then I got hit with novelty. I got hit with something different, flipped my world upside down, corkscrew, and it took me in a different direction. Variety is the spice of life. You know, I said, oh, you want something different? All right. Okay. You know, before we showed you pain, but you didn't feel the suffering very much. You felt the pain, but in a way you were kind of masochistic. You enjoyed the pain. Well, what if this time, when the pain comes, you're not grateful for it and you don't find the love for it? You don't have the compassion for that pain now. And instead, you want it gone. You want it not there. You want it different. So, intermittently, between those videos and current, now, 2026, I have had a lot more moments of suffering, of there was the input of pain, and there was this sort of, I don't like this, I don't want this to be what it is right now. I can't escape it, I can't get away from it. Oh no. And with the pain came a suffering. And I wasn't enjoying myself. I wasn't enjoying my experience. I wasn't enjoying other people. And oftentimes, instead of opportunities in the world, instead of just moments of coming across raw material and being able to transpose and transform and make something with the emotion, make something with the feeling, make something of my experience. Instead, a lot of that pain and that suffering, instead of seeing the opportunity, I found things burdenous, irritating. And I became a darker version of myself. And I had thoughts that I didn't like. I lived whole ways of life disliking, hating, negatively impacting the world. And all the meanwhile, I was in the middle of this impacting the world in a negative way, not liking my experience, feeling the suffering, wanting that to change. I didn't like myself. I didn't like the thoughts inside me. I didn't like the thoughts that came to me. I didn't like my impact on the world. And I didn't know how to enjoy myself. I didn't know how to find joy in my experience. How can I provide value? What did you do to begin enjoying yourself again? Subtraction. I came back to base principles. Instead of finding an annoyance at what I perceived others wanting me to be, and being annoyed that I might have to fit in to the square hole, that I came back to the truth. I took down all the various complex personas out there. I'm the busy guy. I'm the hardworking guy. This is physically difficult and painful. And you don't know. And instead, I embraced my experience. I leaned into my experience. I didn't turn away from it like I didn't want it there. Pain? Yeah. I'll be there with you. I'll sit in it. I'll stand in it. We can be here. And I'm not gonna hide it. I'm not gonna hide what it feels like. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna represent it to the best of my abilities, or as far as my courage might allow me in that moment. And so this is how I believe I can best provide value to the viewer of this. And I also find that this is how I'm enjoying myself. So on that note, I'll see you when I see you.